Welcome to Tiki Central, Canada. Ever wonder what is in that cool, refreshing drink that you just have to have on that hot summer's day? Yeah, me too. Picture a man going on a journey beyond sight and sound. Wow, he has left society. He has entered Tiki Central with palm trees, beach sand, blue skies, and God, get me a drink now. Here are your hosts, Craig and Cam, and their wacky views and drinks, life, and maybe information?
Alright folks, hey, how we doing? And guess what? Surprise, surprise, Cam is back.
Hey everybody, it's great to be back. Had to take a couple of weeks off there, hit a bit of a speed bump, but thus is life, and it's really nice to be getting back to normalcy.
Well, we missed you, and just to let you know, by the way, while you're gone, that Norma, my girlfriend, actually took your place for a while, and she did a pretty good job from what I hear.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yes,
Good for her. Yeah.
Yes, I had to basically paint her into a corner and tell her she had to do it, so there was no option on that one.
Well, that's fine. I mean, it's just lucky that she's got a voice as smooth as silk then.
Yeah, try to brown nose, it doesn't work for you.
Yeah, okay? No, hey, I'm doing my best here, right?
Okay, so I guess we should tell everyone who we are. This is not the Comedy Hour on HBO.
No, that's very true.
No.
That's very true.
My name is Craig Stevens. This is Tiki Central Canada, and so I've been in the bar industry, or restaurant hospitality industry, for over 25 years. I've been in mostly management, but of course the last few years I've gone behind the bar and got back to having fun and being creative and being passionate, doing cocktail programs for a couple places that I'm working at. And also, too, hey, I think I just passed on the word to you, Cam. I am now on the advisory board for the bartending program at Algonquin College.
Well, congratulations,
Wow.
and God help us all.
It's not a paying job, but, hey,
okay.
It's a good title that looks good on paper.
Yeah?
And also, too, when you're at a bar and you say, hey, I'm on the advisory board of bartending program at the Algonquin College, all of a sudden you sound very smart. Right?
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that goes and helps me out in a way,
Yeah.
Oh, you must be really intelligent, geez. You're on the advisory board.
College boy, eh?
Exactly, yeah. So, also, too, just recently went to the Made with Love competition in Ottawa. Amazing time.
So what is that exactly?
So, for people who don't know what Made with Love is, it's a mixology competition here held in Ottawa and actually across whole Canada and United States in big cities like Ottawa, Montreal, and Toronto. And what they do is they try to get the top mixologists out of each region. Mm-hmm. Now, what they do is they give you a spirit and an ingredient to mix and make your top drink. Now, you also have to pair it with some food. So what this was is us going around and trying out these different drinks and different food that these people have created. And there were some pretty amazing things there for sure. I had a great time and got to talk to a lot of these mixologists and how they do their things. Because like I've said before, I'm pretty sure I'm not amazing mixologist. I'm just starting to get into it.
Yeah.
So, but
I don't know. I mean, I've had numerous of your mixed drinks, and they've been pretty respectable. I mean, granted, I'm not exactly.
Well, they're more tiki drinks than actual mixology drinks, right?
Okay.
Because mixologist, remember I said, is like the mad scientist, right?
Right.
So I'm just starting to get into that process.
I understand.
Yeah. So that's about me. Now, Cam, you can talk about you and what you're doing.
Yeah. So my name's Cam. I've been living in Ottawa for 13 odd years. Known Craig for a couple of years. Yep. I work in telecommunications. It's a fun job, actually. I enjoy it, but after work, it's time to.
It's time for a beer.
Indeed.
In other words, you're locked in a cubicle, going, "Oh my God, what is 4 o'clock coming around?"
Well, not locked.
Yeah, no, you don't have a door. That's right. I forgot. Okay, yes, that's right. So exactly. So beer is the alternative after work. Then yes.
Beer is delicious.
No, well, I'm not going to argue that point. I mean, it's my job.
Yeah,
it's what I do.
This is true.
If I don't like beer, then I'm in the wrong business. I don't know what to tell you.
No, I agree with that. But you have started anyways to open my eyes to some of the wider world of drinks and flavors and that type of thing. And I continue to look forward to learn more about that.
Right, and also, too, we can't look forward to opening up the Tiki Bar and then really experimenting.
Well, there's also that. I'm basically trying to butter you up for the summertime.
That's it. So you could be like living here in the summer or something? Is that it?
No comment.
Should I get a cot going in the backyard somewhere? So
I've got my own actually. So,
oh, okay. So you bring that along with you? Is that what you're
yeah.
doing?
No, and that's fine. I mean, I hear you guys have got a little rabbit friend who's
we're
who's
feeding
been
a rabbit.
visiting.
Yeah.
No, that's very cool. So I'll just shack up with it.
So I'm going to hear one day from Norma going, oh my God, so who's the drunken bum in the backyard? I'm going to be like, that's Cam. Don't you remember? Oh, yeah, right. Okay.
All of that to ask, quite frankly,
yeah.
like a little
way
tangent
off track
here,
now.
but what are we doing here today? What's the
what's
haps?
the drink of the day? Yeah. So today's drink is going to be the Pina Colada. Summer drink. Yes, that's right. Nice and creamy.
Delicious.
And we're also going to talk
beverage.
a little bit about Saint Martin and Maarten. Yeah.
So, are they related to St. Patrick at all, or
no? And we actually did. If you listen to the podcast, we just passed St. Patrick's Day, and I work in a pub, so it was okay. It wasn't super busy, but it was okay. No, St. Martin is an island actually down in the Caribbean.
Okay, St. Martin. Okay, I understand what you're talking about.
Yeah, if you looked at the Caribbean map behind us, there you'd see it there. Okay.
Look, my eyes are focused on the task at hand here,
oh,
my
right.
friend.
That's true. Yeah.
So, Pina Colada.
Yes.
How did it start? Where'd it come from? What's this all about?
What's this drink all about? A? Oh, so Canadian-like. Okay. So, a pirate actually named...
And what was his name?
Robert Confessy. Yes, that's right. So, back in the 1800s, it was said to actually service to his crew to get them to boost their morale. Confessy? Is that you?
Confessy.
Yeah,
perhaps.
Again, folks, you know me, my pronunciation. Anything that's not in my vocabulary, it sucks. Confessy. So he was a captain of a ship, and he had a pirate crew. And what it is, he served them this drink, so that kind of boost the morale. Now, it's just funny because it says boost the morale, and all my research that I've done. But I'm thinking, okay, when I'm having a pina colada, I'm on a beach. The last thing it's doing is motivating me to do anything.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure you're going to agree with me on this one.
No, I have to agree with that. So I don't drink a ton of pina coladas. I've always enjoyed them when I've had them, but they tend to occur when I'm on a beach.
Right, and you want to relax.
Hanging out the bar, and I'm recovering from some debauchery from events from the previous week.
Exactly, and that's what I mean. Like, I mean, if I had a crew of pirates and I'm trying to motivate them to do stuff around the boat, I think this is probably the last drink I would serve them.
I would concur, quite frankly.
You know what I mean? To be like, okay, guys, why are you lying down? No, we have things to do.
Yeah, well, we've got things to drink, so shut up, you.
Anyway, so that is the one that's not on the books, but is part of my research that I did, and several sources that's the story they went with. Mm-hmm. But the one that is on the books is August of 1954. That Ramon Perez. Mm-hmm. Now, what's his nickname? You can pronounce it probably better than I can.
Monchito, I think.
Right? Monchito?
I think that's the correct pronunciation.
So Ramon Monchito Perez, introduced the Pina Colada to some customers in the the Beachcomber Bar at the Caribe Hilton in San Juan, Puerto Rico.
I see.
Yeah, so basically this drink was introduced in Puerto Rico. Yes, so it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's very cool. So what is involved in the making of a pina colada? I know from my own experiences. I mean, it tends to be sort of a whitish drink.
Yes, creamy.
It's kind of like it's an ice slurry, a slushy, if you will. Mm-hmm. And there's a fairly strong coconut flavor, but there's also some other zing
ingredients in there. Yeah. So we have the white rum. You can use any white rum you want for this. If you want to get a little more fancier, you can go fancier.
Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would there be any distinction if you used a dark rum other than the change in color?
Probably, well, the dark rum obviously has more of an oak taste to it, right?
Right, so it might
more smoky.
Not jive with...
So, no, you can make a pina colada if that's the way you want to go. Example, like when we have gone down in some of these Caribbean islands and ordered drinks, i.e. example, pina coladas, they do ask, do you want, like, say, a dark rum or an amber rum, a spirit rum, spice rum? Sure. So you can do anything you want. It's all up to you what you want to do.
I gotcha.
Now, the original recipe, like I'm saying, is always white rum.
Okay.
Right. But you can do whatever rum you want.
Okay.
For sure. Yes, of course. Cool. So, it's all preference.
So again, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So you got your white rum.
Yep. You got pineapple juice. Mm-hmm. You're going to have cream. So that means like
from a cow.
Yeah. I use half and half cream. You use for your coffees and stuff.
Sure.
Yeah. So you can use that. And then, cream the coconut.
I see.
It's basically the coconut. It's not coconut juice, so you have to be careful about this because I've learned through time of shopping. There's coconut water, there's coconut milk, there's coconut juice, and then there's cream of coconut.
I see.
They're all different. Okay, so if you're looking for ingredients for your pina colada and you're following the recipe I'm telling you, get the cream of coconut. Now, where are you going to find that? I'll tell you right now. Where I found mine, eventually, was actually in a coffee shop. So if you go to a coffee shop or a specialty coffee shop...
Oh, yeah, they got all those squirty things.
Right, the different syrups, right? And that's where, example, like we get the orgeat. This is the almond syrup, and also, too, this cream of coconut.
Isn't that interesting? Yeah. So coffee and mixed drinks are slowly converging.
I guess so. Yeah,
I like the sound of that.
So,
question though:
yes.
How about couldn't you kind of cut out the middleman and just use something like Malibu rum, where it's got like all that coconut flavor?
Rum in there?
Yeah,
you could add it in there, but because of the cream of coconut, because of the texture of it,
sure,
you're going to get a different flavor of the whole thing, and also too the texture of it as well.
Right. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's better to use the original recipe. Go with that. If you want to use coconut rum and cream of coconut, make it sort of like super.
It's
coconut.
like a coconut explosion.
Explosion in your mouth, then you can do that for sure. Yes.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Now, what about those? When I go to Costco or I'm at Loblaws or a grocery store and that type of thing, and I'm wandering the aisles looking for something inappropriate to drink.
Yeah.
I've seen these pina colada mixes.
Right.
Is that the same thing? Is it essentially all those ingredients you were just talking about, but in a bottle?
No.
Pre-mixed bottle?
No. So remember we taled about before about real ingredients.
Yeah.
So the pina colada mix you see
at the
wondering. Bar or even see at the grocery store or whatever, what that is a slushy, sugary mix kind of thing, like a slushy mix.
Right.
So you're like, well, what's the difference? I mean, the big difference in that is that the pina colada mix you get at the bar or the grocery store, it's mostly sugar-based. So it's going to have a lot of sugar. Now, we've all had that where you've had too many sugar drinks. You almost get like that sugar hangover, right? A headache, right?
I feel another cautionary tale coming on.
Oh, no.
But we'll save that for a later date, perhaps.
All right. But if you use the real ingredients that we talked about, the pineapple juice, the cream, and the cream of coconut, you're not going to get that sugar push. You're not going to get that sugar hangover, so to speak.
Okay.
So you can drink more of them and not feel the same effect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, one of the things with the pina coladas I've had is that, just like you mentioned, they tend to be kind of a slushy.
Correct.
Is that the standard? Because, I mean, like, how did they... 1954, so I guess it's not that old. But, I mean, in the 1800s, how...
They didn't have blenders, right?
Yeah, exactly. So...
It's not invented. How do we make the drink? No, I don't know. I don't know what to do.
So is that a necessary condition of the drink, or is it kind of optional? Or
No, so most of the time you see a pina colada, it will be blended.
Okay.
But you can also make it on the rocks. Yes. So it is an option. I have made actually a pina colada on the rocks, and some bars that I've worked that don't have blenders.
Oh.
A lot of bars, a lot of pubs.
Sure.
We don't have blenders. Like when people come in and go, "Hey, I want a frozen daiquiri," I'm like, "Well,
smash some ice around a glass."
Yeah, there's no blenders here. So I have pulled off a pina colada in a non-blender process. It tastes pretty good. Yeah. It's on ice instead of being slushy. That's all.
Bit more of a White Russian, I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Sort of a spin-off of a White Russian.
Okay.
Yeah, a little more pineapple and coconut in there for sure.
So you mentioned blenders.
Yes.
What is the importance of the blender to the creation of a I guess, proper pina colada?
So in other words, do you need some sort of special blender for this?
Well, yeah, because like I've heard, of particular blenders you can get specifically, people will have a specific blender for their pina colada, typically with mix, unfortunately.
Right, yeah, exactly, yeah.
Yeah.
So you don't need a special blender. When I actually first built the Tiki bar in the backyard, I actually used way back, we've all seen these, the bullets, right? Those ones, it's the cup, and it goes on top of the blender.
Yeah. And it's like a single serving.
Single serving, and usually you put like fruit in there. You see it on the TV commercial. I was like, hey, put some
lose
fruit
weight,
in there.
blah, blah, blah.
Lose weight with a bullet.
Yeah.
So that didn't work.
No. Whoops.
I've got 3 bullets, and I still haven't lost any weight on the process. So, yeah, it's a ripoff. No, don't do it.
So what are the characteristics of a pina colada blender?
Now when you go to a bar, you're going to see a blender called an Island Oasis bar, a blender. And what that is an industrial blender actually specifically made for bars. So it's not residential. Like you can't go out and buy an Island Oasis machine.
Yeah.
But actually, through the years, I've moved up in blenders, and now I actually have one called the Margaritaville. And if you actually go to Costco, they actually carry them. And what the Margaritaville is a blender just like the on Oasis one that they have at bars, but it's a residential, like it's a smaller version of it.
Okay, yeah. So
Does the exact same thing, but it's different. So it's just not as big. Right. Now, what these blenders do, if you notice, is that there's ice on top of these blenders, right? Like you see a little ice carriage of ice cubes on top.
Yeah.
So what it is that
I assumed it was sort of an ice dispenser of some sort.
So what it is actually there's two blenders in one. So what it is that when you push the button,
two blenders in one.
That's right. If you act now, we'll throw in the extra blender. Yeah. So what the first blender does is when the ice cubes drop into the blender, it shaves the ice cubes and actually drops that into your blender, your container.
Sure.
So it's shaved ice. So you don't have ice cubes anymore now. You just have shaved ice.
Okay.
And then what it does, it blends all that with the liquid, whatever you put in the blender. Mm-hmm. But then what's really cool about it is that the mechanism on the blender has a tension span. Oh, sorry, not tension span, like me. It has a tension...
Squirrel.
A tension resistor. So what it is that it knows that it's too thick, so it'll keep blending it. Or it's not thick enough, and it'll blend it even more.
Okay, so you end up with kind of the perfect level of slush.
Exactly. So it's cool when my friends come over and I use it because they're like, Craig, you didn't turn off your blender. You don't have to look at it. I'm like, no, it turns itself off. It figures out the right tension. It figures out the right kind of the texture of the drink.
Yeah, the consistency.
And stops.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
So what's your spin on it? I mean, you always have your own take on these drinks.
I always do my own little throw in there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, as one should, I would imagine.
Yeah. So one of the things I throw in there, you can throw in there is a banana.
That'd be nice.
Yeah, into your blender. Some berries. I've done that before, raspberry and strawberries.
Get your potassium.
Yeah. Now, one actually cool ingredient I've actually thrown in there, and you know me about like having ingredients that people can't really figure out, but they're in there, is vanilla bean syrup.
You see, that's a lot better than asparagus, which is what I was thinking. But
oh, sure. Let's go. That sounds like a healthy drink there, Cam.
Yeah, but it stinks when it comes out.
Sure it does on both ends. Okay. So the vanilla bean syrup we talked about before is simple syrup with vanilla bean infused into it.
Right, and I remember you talking about that in a previous episode.
Right. So think about that. You're making a drink and it's got this hint of vanilla bean in there, so it's pretty cool. Yeah,
absolutely. It sounds pretty damn tasty, quite frankly.
Exactly. Now another colada you can actually make, and I've actually found this out in St. Martin, and this is one of the things we're going to talk about today, St. Martin, is actually have it called Guavaberry Colada. So it's guava berries.
Guava is a berry. I didn't even realize that. I thought it was sort of like more like a mango.
No, it's a berry.
Interesting. Yeah, okay, yeah. So a Guavaberry Colada. So what's
from St. Martin?
Okay. So is this a drink that's specific to St. Martin or?
Yeah. So the Guavaberry is a St. Martin legendary liqueur. It's actually the national drink of St. Martin.
I see.
Yeah, and it's not only is it made in the bars and restaurants, but actually it's known to be made in the houses. Like in their own homes. Okay. So all the people that are residents or locals of that area will grab the guava berries, bring them home, and they make their own coladas at home.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, very cool. Especially around Christmas time, they make their own sort of guava coladas.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah. I remember, I lived in Japan for a little while. I think I mentioned that. And one of the things I found really interesting was that folks would have these growlers, like the big bottles with the kind of like hooch finger like hook up on them.
I remember those, yeah.
Yeah, with like fully formed peaches or pears or apples in them. Wow. So which would mean that, people had actually taken these and stuck them on the branch of the tree and let the fruit grow within them.
Wow.
And
that's interesting.
Yeah, no, I thought it was really cool. And when I asked about it, it turned out that they were essentially making, I don't know if it was like brandy, I guess would be the right.
Nope, that's right. Brandy.
And so they would have this big jug of alcoholic fruit liqueur.
Wow.
Just sitting on their kitchen counter. It was very neat.
Oh, cool. And you obviously got to try some of these out?
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, like they hadn't been distilled or anything, so it wasn't kind of, punchy in the face, super alcoholic, but very, very delicious, or very tasty, I should say.
Nice. Yeah. Now, I think we talked about before, and people, if you're listening, and we've, there's some such thing as the bathtub spirits. So in that situation, you just want to make sure you're being careful because, yeah, if you're like me, you travel in these other countries, and you're like, oh, cool, they've got this local kind of spirit or something, whatever. You don't know what's in that spirit. So do be cautious and
Yeah.
whatever. I mean,
Yeah, you want to make
wanna
sure,
try something new, but you're at
taking
your
it
own
from-
risk, right?
Yeah, you want to make sure you're not taking it from, Shifty Larry or whatever the local equivalent
Some
is.
guy on the corner or whatever, like, hey, I got some brew here for you.
So folks make this Guavaberry Colada in their kitchens. It's around the island and stuff. Where did this come from? Like, how did it originate?
Guavaberry actually is a wild berry that's grown in St. Maarten and actually a lot of the Caribbean islands. But St. Maarten has the bulk of the guavaberry trees that are actually in that area.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, they're also too, they're the only country to make it into a spirit. So in other words, there's no guavaberry vodka, there's no guavaberry bourbon, there's no even guavaberry rum. It's only made in St. Maarten, and they're the only ones that have it. And also too, they have the most guava berries in the world.
Wow.
For a region.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool.
St. Maarten sounds like a fairly interesting place, actually.
It was pretty cool because, there's 2 countries involved.
Like, you visited, right?
Yeah, so I went down for 3 or 4 days one year. This is way back in 2000, I think 3 or 5. And then last year we went on a cruise and we hit 3 different islands.
So, can you tell me a little bit more about St. Maarten?
Yeah, so like I said, St. Maarten is actually 2 countries. It actually is the smallest island in the world divided by 2 countries, France and the Netherlands. And the island is only 34 square miles in total. So it's a very small island.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, it's not that big.
It's tiny. That is significantly smaller than the square kilometerage of the city of Ottawa.
Yeah, so imagine Ottawa on an island, and it actually is 2 different countries.
Wow.
How cool is that?
So the French and the Dutch?
Yes. So another cool thing we actually went to when we went on last year on the cruise is we went to this beach called Maho Beach. Now Maho Beach has a bar attached to it called the Sunset Bar. And unfortunately, from the Hurricane Irma, it pretty well destroyed the bar and the airport as well. That's actually there.
Oh my goodness.
So yeah, unfortunately, another island that got hit by this hurricane.
An entire airport.
Yeah. So now what's really cool is that the Maho Beach is actually attached to the airport. So what it is that there is a 20, maybe 30-yard beach front. Okay. Then you have a street. Then you have a fence. And then you actually have the airport. So planes are actually flying over the beach that you're on.
I think I've seen
really
video
low.
of this.
Yes.
Yeah, and the
flying
terrifying faces.
over.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, it is actually kind of dangerous. So
Really?
Yes. So I'll give you an example. So like I said, there's a beach, then there's a road, and then there's 2 fences.
2 fences, okay.
Right. And it used to actually be 1 fence. And the reason why it used to be only 1 fence, that's all they needed at the time until actually a plane came from Britain and its tires hit the top of the fence and punctured the tires, and actually it took hours and hours to actually get the plane off the runway.
Well, I would imagine. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because you got to remember, they need the whole runway.
Right.
Land,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
It's a
yeah.
very
So they
small
need to
runway.
land
Very
perfectly
acute.
right at the beginning.
Perfectly,
Yeah.
right?
Wow.
Yeah, and there's some big planes that come from like England, and all the Dutch, heritage and stuff.
Yeah. So
747 is gonna land there.
yeah, and I bet like the Airbus A380s and
Exactly.
and, the real jumbo jets.
Yeah.
So, but you mentioned that it's not really safe.
So what it is that
beach, I mean.
Yeah, no. So the beach itself is safe. For example, like where we were, because the beach is at say 20 to 30 yards, but it's a decline, right? So it's like
It's like on a
acute
slope.
angle.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
Exactly.
Okay.
So where we were standing on the beach, it was pretty cool. Well, the plane went by. Now, what you would be thinking is when the plane goes by that you're going to feel this push, right? The force of the engines of the plane.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. So no, what ends up happening is that the plane flies over top of you. You don't feel anything then. It's like a delay reaction. The plane lands, and then you feel the thrust. So it actually pushes over onto the beach while we're there. The guy beside us,
really?
actually, his hat, he had a baseball cap on, flew off into the ocean, like gone.
Oh, jeez.
So another thing that also is there is that, so like I said, there's a fence there, and there's actually 2 fences now because of the whole puncture of the tires. But there's actually a warning track there at the fence saying, like, don't stand here, it's dangerous.
Yeah.
Now,
You're gonna get hit by the
either the
jet
plane
blast. Yeah.
or the jet blast.
Yeah.
Now, what happened was that a couple of years ago, a lady thought it'd be fun just to hold onto the fence and see, if it would actually push her to the point where maybe she'd be like vertical.
Right. Sounds like
horizontal?
a really, really smart lady. Yeah, I think horizontal is the correct
Horizontal
term.
to the road, right?
Like the horizon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she thought, oh, this is cool. I'll just hang on to the fence and they'll push me back, right? And I'll be floating, right? Well, the problem was that it pushed so hard, she let go of the fence and actually hit her head on the shoulder of the road Yeah, died instantly. So if you go there,
So Darwin claimed another.
Yeah, gravity works.
Yeah.
So if you go to St. Maarten and you do go to Maho Beach, please do be careful and stay within the boundaries that they actually do have there. There's a reason why they're there.
Yeah, signs are there for a reason.
Exactly.
Essentially. Yeah.
Now the Sunset Bar, which is really cool about this actually, is you go there, okay. Now we all have gone to airports, right? And you see the screens, arriving planes, right?
Yeah, like the monitors or whatever, and they list all the different.
So at the beach, this bar, which is attached to the beach, it's really cool. You go in there and they actually have the same monitors. So when you're sitting there having a drink and eating some food and whatever, and checking it out, you go like, oh, well, there's a plane coming in 3 minutes. Okay, cool. It's coming from Japan. Hey, wow, that's cool. So you have the same monitors that they have at the airport.
I'm going to have to tell my dad about that. My dad is a real plane watcher, and he's got a great view of the Vancouver airport now.
Nice.
And he's always on his iPhone or his iPad, saying, "Oh, yep, that's
coming in soon, right?
That's a such and such heading off to China, or this and that, and the other thing."
Nice.
So, very cool.
And like you're saying, it is a really cool experience. I can't even explain to somebody, but it is pretty amazing to see such a big, massive plane flying over you, literally maybe within 100 feet of your head.
Yeah.
It's pretty well.
Amazing and terrifying all
at the same time.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Now here's some other cool facts about St. Maarten. From October to April, they're 1 hour ahead of us.
Okay.
So Eastern Standard Time, they're 1 hour ahead of us on October to April.
Okay.
Now as soon as we change
they're
our
on
clocks,
island time.
yeah,
Right?
they're always on island time, folks.
Yeah.
So after April, like when we change our clocks, they don't change their clocks.
Oh, okay, for daylight savings, I mean.
Right, yeah.
They're always saving the day.
I know. Well, I guess so if you're on the beach.
Yeah, hey.
I want more beach time, don't you?
I'll turn my nose up at that.
So it's almost like we're like, well, why are we doing daylight savings time? It really is not a necessity
Force
anymore.
of habit.
And there actually are some provinces I've actually heard. I think Alberta is one of them that doesn't do it.
Oh, really? I didn't know
Yeah,
that.
someone told me about that. That actually they don't do it.
Interesting.
Another interesting one that's weird, being an East Coaster, Newfoundland is half a time zone.
Yes, no, I was aware of that.
If you watch CBC in Nova Scotia, example, it'll say, "Oh, this show's on at 9 o'clock at night or 9:30."
9:30 in Newfoundland Labrador.
Time.
Yeah.
So it's like, what?
just one more of the eccentricities of.
It makes Newfoundland that much more strange.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, those people over there are really strange. They only have a half time zone.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to St. Maarten. I know we went off track there, folks, and we're sorry about that. But you do it on an occasional basis, I know.
No, I'm not.
It's me. Yeah, I know. It's me. Okay, got it. Wow. He's gone for 2 weeks, and this is what I get.
I'm full of beans. Okay, I'm full of beans.
So apparently on the Dutch side, okay, so electricity is a 110 volt. It is in USA.
Yeah, in Canada as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, however, on the French side, though, it's a 220 volt.
Sacre bleu.
So it's just like Europe. So if you were traveling between, like, say, St. Maarten and St. Martin,
you better make sure
you have to pack some adapters.
Oh, jeez.
Now, there's another thing, too, the currency. So on the French side, you've got the European currency, the euro.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
and then
the euro,
on the Netherlands side, you have what's called the guilder.
Right.
Okay. And also, too, they do American dollars. So on one side, you can do American dollars on the Netherlands side, the Dutch side. On the French side, you can't use American dollars. You have to use the euro. So if you go to an ATM, let's say, example, on the French side, the ATM will spit out euro.
Right.
If you go on the Netherlands side, either spit out either guilder or US dollars.
That seems extremely inconvenient for tourists.
Yeah, you have to kind of keep track of where you are because there's no borders. Right? There's no physical fences or crossings or anything like that. These countries literally are beside each other, and you kind of just can walk around. Oh, I'm on a different country now.
And there's no signs or anything?
No signs, nothing. No.
Well, that's just silly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's probably welcome to Maarten, and then there's welcome to Martine.
Okay, yeah.
But I mean, there's no fences, there's no gates, there's no significant border of any kind.
Quite honestly, it kind of reminds me of the situation when I was a teenager before 9/11.
Before 9/11, when there wasn't really a border there, right?
No, I mean, you can just sort of wander across and get all the great American candy, quite frankly.
Exactly. Or you went shopping with your mom. Remember, you would go, hey, we're going, it's Black Friday, let's go shopping.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, let's go. We're going to America.
T-shirts.
Oh, okay. We'll get some gas while we're down there.
Yeah, because it's cheaper. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it's true.
Oh,
I know. Now
changed.
it's like, what the heck? And the thing is, back then you didn't need a passport either. You just had your driver's license, or if you were a kid like us, you just had your birth certificate. That was it.
Yeah. No, absolutely.
Now you have to have a passport.
Yep.
So things have changed, my friend.
Things have definitely changed, and not for the better, in my humble
No,
opinion.
unfortunately, yes.
You know,
this is the way the world turns, my friend.
It's the way the world is. Yep.
All right.
Did you know?
I did not.
Okay, cool. So the Pina Colada actually is a national drink of Puerto Rico since 1978. So if you go to Puerto Rico, the Pina Colada is the drink that they call theirs, the national drink.
Well, and I'd just like to point out that Puerto Rico continues to rebuild after the hurricane season.
Yes.
And
Another hurricane factor, yes.
Yeah, and just want to wish them all the best in their recovery.
I haven't done any updates on that, but I'm hoping they're doing better than they were before, for sure. Mm-hmm. Also, too, National Pina Colada Day is on July 10th of every year. What better way to celebrate the summer and have a Pina Colada Day?
Well, and I'd just like to note that that's a handy 10 days after Canada Day.
So we're just
you
recovered.
Got plenty of time to recover, even if you decided to go down south and celebrate their little holiday on July 4th.
Their little holiday.
Yeah, it's
actually,
cute.
See, I'm still cleaning up from my party from Canada Day party that I have in my backyard. So
from last year.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Dear
takes
God.
that long. It was that good.
Well, you better hurry up because there's another one coming along any day now.
Yeah, no, it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah.
Also, too, what's really cool is that Pina Colada actually translate from the Spanish word strained pineapple. So Pina means pineapple.
Sorry, strange pineapple?
No, strained.
Strained.
Like.
Okay. Yeah. I understand. I just I
a
misheard
colander. You put something in there, the juice comes out, and you're good to go.
So it's an alcoholic beverage called strained pineapple.
Strained pineapple.
Part of me has to think that, a bunch of dudes got together and they made this delicious beverage, and then they had to figure out a way to explain to their wives what they were doing.
Like, I'm going up for some strained pineapple.
Yeah,
I'm going over to Bob's house. We're gonna have some strained pineapple.
We're gonna strain some pineapple and watch the game.
Yeah, okay, wait. Back then, what was the game? It couldn't be hockey or football or anything like that because it didn't exist.
That's true. Gonna watch the grass
some
grow.
Strange lacrosse thing or something.
Watch the pineapples grow.
So there's an excuse to get out of the house.
Yeah, no, exactly.
So wait a minute. You tell me every drink that I've basically been studying and trying to master is probably some way of getting out of house back then. It's like.
I mean, that's the assumption I'm operating under.
It's a way to get along with the guys.
You got it, boss. Yeah. But okay, so hold on. But
yes.
in all seriousness,
yes,
you got the French and the Dutch on an island, and it's a small island.
Well, we said yes.
And how did that happen?
So, in other words, how did they divide the island up?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so it's pretty cool. So when we visit the island, this is actually a story that was told to us by several people that are locals there. Also, my research also says that this is also a story that basically gone through time has become the fact.
It's apocryphal.
Yeah, it's like a folk story, folklore.
Apocryphal.
Or what do you want to call it?
Apocryphal.
Okay. Yes. So, Netherlands and France, back in March of 1648, made up a treaty, and so they decided, okay, well, we're going to decide on how we divide the country up. In other words, one didn't want to leave, the other one didn't leave, and they're like, okay, let's just stop fighting, let's just share the island, okay? Mm-hmm. So what ended up happening was that, now the rumor goes, is that a Frenchman and a Dutchman went back to back in the middle of the island, okay? And they said, okay,
like they stood back to back?
Stood back to back.
Like they were going to duel.
Yeah, like the old duel days,
like
remember?
pistols at dawn.
Pistols at dawn,
okay.
Yeah. Was it dawn? I'm not quite sure. Anyway, so what they would do is they were back to back and they had to walk in opposite directions. Now, here's a little trick to the trade of this one now, is that they were actually served a drink before, walking because it's hot and you want to make sure you're hydrated, right?
Oh, of course.
So the Frenchman had wine.
What better way to get hydrated?
What better way to get hydrated than that? The Dutchman actually had gin because that's what Dutch had.
Well, that's an even worse way to get hydrated.
So imagine a bottle of wine for the Frenchman and a bottle of gin
for the other. I'm feeling like the Dutchman is at a bit of a disadvantage.
Yeah, I can imagine that. So the ratio actually of the island is 60-40. So 60% of it's French, 40% of it's Dutch.
Okay.
And so it's funny because they did this walk, of course, and then they got to figure out, okay, the island. Yeah. The Dutch is still, to this day, they actually argued that the French cheated this contest.
Well,
like, wait a minute,
reverse doping?
Did you put something in this drink?
You didn't dope yourself enough?
Yeah, so it was like what, like Lance Armstrong, the Frenchman, he put some sort of drug in his wine.
No, that's it. They pulled a reverse.
Took off like a rock.
They pulled a reverse Lance Armstrong.
There you go. Yeah. Slowed him down to a screeching halt.
Clever buggers.
Apparently, if I remember reading correctly the story, actually he does pass out
Oh my
Like,
goodness.
he didn't even finish the walk.
Yeah, and
He's
Frenchman
like, oh,
just
well, I'm done right here. I'm just gonna lie right here now. This looks good.
took pity on him. And
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh,
So
that's good.
that's how that happened.
That's
I know.
hilarious.
Isn't it the strangest thing of how to divide a country up?
It's
Could
really
you imagine
kind of
if we did that in Canada?
Oh, I could see us
An
doing
Englishman
it.
and a Frenchman. Okay, now you
I
guys
just-
walk in opposite directions.
I just feel, though, that it would come down to whether or not this entire mapping exercise was a federal or provincial responsibility. But that's
See,
neither here nor
that's
there.
how Canada works, right?
Yeah. But Craig, I got to interrupt
Okay.
because I've got an email from one of our listeners.
Mailbag. Yes,
Yeah, it's a mailbag, and I thought I'd chuck it at you.
Gotcha.
So I've got an email from Thomas, and
Yes.
Thomas is asking, when you travel,
Yes.
Craig, what is the amount you can bring back from another country?
Jeez,
Craig,
wow.
in terms of alcohol.
Wait. Did he actually put Craig at the end?
No,
Of that? Okay.
no, I just wanted to make
You just
sure
wanted
you
to throw
were
that
clear
in there?
that
Were you saying I was paying attention? Okay.
I got nothing, is what I'm
Oh,
saying.
gotcha. Okay. So, yes, actually, I've traveled quite a few years in the past, and I've gone to quite a few places. And so the general rule of thumb is when you're traveling from other countries coming back to Canada is that you're allowed 2 bottles of either 750 milliliters or 1 bottle of 1.5 liter of a bottle of a spirit.
Oh, okay. So you
can
can
do
win a little
2
bit if you just get the
750s,
single. Yeah.
or you could do 1.5 liter.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's some couple things that you need to know because that's just how it's written down, but there's some sort of leniency towards that.
Mm-hmm.
So what I mean by that is that I've done in a couple of years in the past, traveled to quite a few places where I'm like, okay, well, I want to bring back more than 2 bottles. Because first of all, the liquor down is super cheap, okay?
Okay.
So a bottle, which was 750 milliliters, a lot of places like $8, $10 for a bottle.
Holy smoke! So
Yeah, super cheap.
Is that and maybe you're not entirely clear on this, but
Yeah.
is that just because they charge really low, or is it because there aren't a lot of taxes on it?
I'm thinking because there's not a lot of taxes on it.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise
You know
me.
what I mean?
Yeah.
That what we pay up here has obviously been taxed to death.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's $8, $10 a bottle.
Mm-hmm.
So I've done in the past a few times. I've actually brought back more than what actually my quota is. Just a rule of thumb is that if you do bring back liquor,
Mm-hmm.
and especially if you bring back more than the 2 bottle 750s or the more than the 1.5 liter bottle,
Sure. Yeah.
when
When you're over the quota.
over the quota. So the best thing to do is when you get to customs, and I've done this several times, and trust me, it does work for the 90% of the time, is if you're completely honest with the guy at the customs to say, look, I just came back from a 7-day journey, and I brought back some bottles of rum or whatever spirit it is, and say example, you say, oh, I've got 3 bottles of rum.
Sure.
That 9 times out of 10 or 99% of the time, he'll just say, you know what, be done with it. It's good.
Right. It's not worth their trouble.
So yeah, because what it is that if you do have to charge you duty, that it's a calculation on what the bottle cost you down there, not what the bottle would cost you up here.
Oh,
so
beauty.
you know,
So even if you have to pay
$8,
tax, it's going to be significantly
it's going
less
to
than
be
what you
like
pay up
50
here.
cents, maybe a couple bucks.
Right.
So 9 times 10, they don't want to fill out the paperwork. They don't want to sit there and spend extra time with you. So they're just
Nickel
like, you know
dime
what,
you. Yeah.
you're done. Now, in terms of that, what you need to do is not do what some people do. Like, hey, I spent a week in Jamaica. I've got nothing to claim. Guess what? They're checking your bag.
But one other issue I'm curious about, quite frankly, is, I mean, what if you decide to ship your
your liquor
booze,
from another
your
country.
Your liquor, yeah.
Now, I actually have done this once from the States, shipped a bottle of spirits up to Canada. I highly recommend not to do that because what ends up happening is that you're going to be paying, it's a different duty for some strange reason. It's a different duty. I think it's also by weight and also too by content. So you're doing 2 different things.
Right, you got a couple variables there.
Yeah. Ends up by, so example, like the one I got was a $20 bottle of something. I can't remember what it was, example, spirit of some kind. And I remember paying, I think it was like $15 duty on it. So, yeah,
No, I mean,
think I'll just go down
that's
there and get it there.
getting,
You know
essentially
what I mean?
Canadian
So
prices.
if you're traveling, take advantage of the situation. If you have, example, one, like, because the problem is, you know, when you go down these countries, there's some amazing spirits down there, and you can't get them in LCBO. So you have to remember that. So what people do is they travel down there and they get the 1 bottle of rum and they're like, tickle pink. It's like, yes, but once that bottle's gone, that's it. You have no more. So if your friends come over and you're like, hey, I was in St. Maarten, I had Guavaberry rum, but now it's all gone. I can't give you any, or you can't even try any. You know what I mean? I'd rather get 3 or 4 bottles. If there's any duty at all, it's going to be a couple bucks.
Yeah, you
for
might as
something
well
that
do
I
it,
can't get
kind of
here.
straight and narrow way.
Yeah, that you can't get here. So you may as well just get more of it.
Yeah.
You know? And so that's the question. The answer to that question is that, I mean, there's a limit, but there's also some leniency on that as well.
Does it also make a difference how long you've been down?
Yes. So you have to be at least, if I remember correctly, at least 3 days.
3
wherever
days.
you
Oh,
are.
wow. Okay.
Like you can't just go over the border and come back.
Yeah.
You're not going to get anything. You have to pay duties on whatever you got.
Yeah. So you're looking at probably 72, is that right? I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
24, 48, 72.
72 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to spend at least 3 days there for sure.
Understood.
Anything less than that, you're not bringing anything back without paying duty.
Okay.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to know.
Yeah, so that's cool. So that is our show, folks. So far, how do you feel, Cam, coming back?
Doing great.
It's
Feels
almost
good.
like you didn't disappear at all.
Well, I'm glad to be back. Shut up, Craig.
Am I taking away from your moment?
Yeah, you're ruining it. But that's okay. It feels good. I mean, I had to go on a little bit of a spiritual journey.
And we understand.
I climbed a pyramid.
And hey, and just let you know, a lot of people actually that I know personally that listen to the show, they said that they had their condolences to you and that they
Thanks. No, and I appreciate
they're,
that.
They're glad that you're back.
Yeah, no, it hasn't been a fun couple of weeks, but thus is life, and I'm doing well now.
That's awesome. Well, we're glad you're back,
buddy.
my friend. Yeah. So let's just talk about a couple things about our podcast. So one of the things is we have a webpage called www.tikicentralcanada.ca.
All one word.
Go check it out, and you'll see our smiley faces there. And it's also, too, you'll see a blog on there for every podcast that we do. And also, there's links on there for iTunes and Google Play. Please, folks, subscribe to either iTunes or Google Play, whatever one you're using. And the reason why is because we get stats on that. So we know how many people are actually listening to our podcast. Instead of actually, we're getting stats as well on how many times a podcast gets played. Also on that page, you'll see, and I use it in the car. If you don't want to use iTunes or Google Play, you just click the link to the podcast, and it actually directly plays right through whatever source you're using, be it your car or your phone. But also, too, there's a spot to put comments, and we love comments. And if you have questions, for sure, definitely don't be afraid to ask, because, if Cam or me can't figure it out, I will research it out.
Yeah, without question.
That's usually what I do right after a close at the bar. I come home and I can't sleep, so I may as well do some work, right? That's the best time for me, anyways.
Yeah. Yeah. Well,
So
that's good. It helps you kind of wind down and.
Exactly. It's something I do. It's So, folks, that's it for our show. I think we're gonna go down and whip up some pina coladas in the
Sounds
blender.
like a beautiful idea.
Yeah, we can't do them outside, unfortunately, because it's still snow.
Still snow, still below zero, but
it's melting. It's
well,
melting.
and I may have gotten my summer haircut a little bit too early, but you know what? I'm glad I did because it signals fine things ahead.
That's right. Maybe you're forecasting like, hey, folks, snow is gone, and let's move on.
Summer is coming.
That's it. All right, folks. So I think that's it for us today.
Take care, folks.
Please stay tuned. All right. Later.
Peace.
Well, I don't know about you, but I got it for him. Hey guys, right? Hey, where's my drink? Hey, where's my drink?